3, 2, 1. Doing a nighttime show here. So, making $1,000 online in a week. Literally a week. And this is with no following, no email list, none of this stuff. This is you deciding you want to figure out how to make $1,000 online in a week. And I'm just going to cut right to it. It is not so much about marketing. It's not so much about putting yourself out there. It's just really simple tactics. Real marketing involves a much longer process to get to where you want to go here. But maybe you're thinking, I need to make $1,000 quickly and I need to do it as fast as I can. So I'll just tell you what I did, and I've only got 2 options that have been successful in the span of a week. So this is literally you pocketing $1,000. I can't say that any other approach has been successful. Other approaches have taken me much longer, so I'll just give you these 2 options. It's really straightforward. Number 1, you set up a freelancing profile on Upwork and you apply for jobs. And you essentially try to get $1,000 worth of projects. So how you do this? Well, look at your inventory of skills over the past 10 years. What have you done in the past 10 years to indicate that you are an expert in something? You got to be an expert in something. So freelance, you can be a freelance writer, you can be a freelance marketer, translator. If you have a voice, you could narrate audio, you could translate audio into text, you could do a number of different things. So freelancing, that's what has been successful for me. I managed to do a website design. It was a $3,000 client, so I managed to secure that. But the first payment was $1,000, so that was within a week. And the reason why I got that client is because I had marketing experience, I had some previous website experience. All I just had to say was, hey, I can do websites and I'm familiar with WordPress and I can help you out there. And it was really straightforward. I had a sales call through Skype, and a couple days later I got the contract. So that's a nice little gig, and it's all online and I have no following. So person decided to take a chance on me and it worked out. So go to upwork.com or freelancer.com or any type of freelancing platform, even Craigslist. Just go for a freelance gig, and you can do this all online. You don't have to travel and you don't have to do the whole 9-to-5 thing. You just set it up and you're good to go. So that's the number 1 quickest way to make that money, because it's all based on what you know, and it's about your hustle over the span of a week. How many applications can you get out there? And that's all it is. That's all it takes to get that $1,000 is how willing are you to put in the time and the effort to apply to those jobs. So that's what you're going to do there. Now, if you're thinking, I don't know the inventory of skills I have, I don't know what I'm good at, I haven't really figured this out yet, I'm not sure, where do I begin with this? Okay, well, let's move on to number 2 here. And this is selling stuff from your house on Craigslist. Okay, if you need $1,000, take an inventory of all the items you own and determine what you can sell. If you have to sell your couch, I bet you could do that. Make $100 or $200 off of that, and maybe 5 more things that could get you to $1,000. And chances are you've got a bunch of things sitting around your house, and you can put them all up on Craigslist, sell them, and you're good to go. You're going to have to probably cut the cost down, though. Don't expect to get anywhere near 50% of what you paid, because you want to make this quick sale. But it's good practice if you go on Craigslist and post items on there that you're trying to get rid of. It's really good practice for sales. And I think everyone should know how to be a salesperson. Whether or not you're actually going to be in sales, at the end of the day, if you want to make any sort of a living on anything, you need to understand how to sell that product. You need to understand how to communicate its value to the world. And sales is very effective in terms of having that as a skill set. I struggle with it all the time. I don't understand it. I don't understand what makes people decide to buy. I come from a marketing background where I do my best to make it so that people convert. That's my background. My background isn't really so much sales and being too salesy. So I have to create some sort of a story in order to communicate value. And that's where I'm coming from. But sales is critical, especially if you want to close deals. So if you want to be able to sell anything, Craigslist is a good way to actually practice your skills. So I would recommend it. And chances are look at the duplicates of the things that you own. Even look at like dress shirts that you own. Gather them all together. You might be able to sell them all as a bundle for like $100. That's what I did. So I was able to sell quite a few different things in the span of a week. And if you got a nice TV or a nice computer, you can make $1,000 pretty easily. How many computers do you need anyways? If you got like 3 computers, you should probably sell like 1 or 2 of them. Assuming that you've got multiple computers, maybe you've got tablets, old phones that you're not using. Oh, there's so many different opportunities for you to make money just from your living room, from your household. It's crazy how much money is just being left on the table. So those are some of the things that I'd look at. But those are the only 2 that I can honestly recommend, because I haven't seen too much success otherwise. Now, me personally, to be honest, this is like a 3rd bonus way, but I haven't actually tried this, so I don't know, but it seems really straightforward. So if you're on Craigslist, this kind of ties into number 2, really. Maybe you can go and perhaps live somewhere else, in which case you have the opportunity to rent out your place. So you can put an ad up for your place as a rental and go and live somewhere else. Or maybe consolidate to the point where you only live in a small portion of your accommodations, and you can rent out the other space in the form of a shared situation. You could make $1,000 for the rent from someone else. You could do that. If your house is even bigger, you have a house, and you can maybe make $2,000 or $3,000. Like, I don't know how big your house is, but this is another opportunity. And again, this kind of goes under Craigslist. So it ties into number 2. It's almost number 3 on its own. Rent out a place. So that's like a little bonus for you. I haven't tried it myself, but I did a little test one time. I actually put up my condo as an experiment online on Craigslist to see how much money I could have it in for while still having people respond saying they wanted to rent my place. Now, my mortgage is $700 a month, Canadian. It's like next to nothing compared to what most people have to spend. Most people have to spend $1,200 in rent. That's $1,200 that they lose. So they don't get to keep that. There's no equity that they're building into their home. They're literally throwing away cash. Whereas my place, I've already put in like a good chunk. I put a big chunk as a down payment, and then I put in monthly $700. So I'm continually investing into real estate, which is my first property here. And I'd like to get into another property. But at the moment, this is what I've got. So what's interesting is you could make, with a small apartment, $1,400. I mean, I was able to get people asking to rent my place out literally the next day. Like, they wanted to move in the next day, and they were willing to pay $1,400 to live in this place. That is double my mortgage. Double my mortgage. So it seems silly for me to be continuing to live here, because I could move out, go somewhere else, and rent this place out, have them pay for my mortgage, and go into another place. Certainly, that seems like a wise choice, to go and find another place, or go and live somewhere else while somebody pays for my mortgage. Seems like a no-brainer. But this is good. This is good that I'm really low in expenses. Like, my expenses are next to nothing. When you talk about my mortgage, it's next to nothing. So I'm in a good place. I don't like having too much of a burden financially. So I like this approach. And that's essentially what I like about online and being able to communicate with people all over. You're able to find people willing to spend money on whatever it is you have. If you have products or household items sitting around, you can make money off of those. If you have some sort of a skill, you can provide a service online and people will pay you for that. So you've got plenty of opportunities. Just look at yourself, look at your inventory of skills, and you'll be quite surprised to see what you could accomplish. So those are my few options there. Or you can make $1,000 in a week. It's pretty simple. It's legitimate. There's no scamming involved. Anyone else that tells you a bunch of other things, I don't know if I necessarily believe them, because Rome wasn't built in a day. So if somebody tells you, you could sell like 1,000 copies of your book, you easily make $1,000 in a week. Well, that's if you have a following, definitely. You could sell like 1,000 courses, $1,000 in courses. Again, you need to have a following. You need to have some sort of credibility. The advantage to freelancing is somebody needs a job done really quick, okay? And they need somebody with knowledge in the area to do the work. And if you have enough of the knowledge, you're good to go. In reality, it's not technically possible if you're starting from scratch to make $1,000 in a week. It could take several months or years, because when I made $1,000 freelancing, the reason why I made $1,000 is because I had 5 years of experience in that domain. That's why somebody was paying me $1,000. Okay, so it didn't really happen in a week, but the process of becoming a freelancer to getting that first client, that was, in fact, within a week. But the learning involved took many years. So what have you learned over the past several years that you can translate into freelance work? And then if you look at the accumulation of items, well, you've spent many years accumulating these items. If you got thousands of dollars worth of items sitting around, then you have likely accumulated those over time. It's taken many years. So now if you're looking to flip them and sell them, well, did it take just a week, or did it take many, many weeks or months or years? It's debatable. But at the very least, I'm just looking at your current inventory and saying these are the options. This is how you can make a certain amount over the span of a week right now, given where you're sitting, where you're standing. I don't know who you are. You might be living on the streets, in which case the freelancing option might be the way to go. So there's something you know that others don't, and they're willing to pay you for it. Figure out what that is, put a price tag on it, and get out there, get after it, and you're good to go. So that's all I've got for this session. I don't think you have any excuses now. You're ready to go. So I'll leave you to it. Until next time, cheers. And thanks for tuning in.